Mantle.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I'm very glad to second this motion. Make no mistake, the Australian community wants to see Julian Assange go free. While there may well be a range of views about Mr Assange, as the member for Clark said, his further incarceration and prosecution is seen by many to represent an injustice. That's my personal view. It's not shared by everyone, it's my personal view. But there are many in this chamber and in the other place who want to see the matter resolved. Indeed, Speaker, the open letter from the co-conveners that Bring Julian Assange Home Parliamentary Friendship Group, which includes the member for Clark and the member for Bass, with whom I'm glad to share this debate, was signed by 63 members of the Australian Parliament. It is significant that both the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition have been clear in saying that the matter should come to an end. The Prime Minister has properly raised the matter of Julian Assange with the governments of the United States and the United Kingdom, and that marks a shift from what occurred previously. In May last year, the Prime Minister said enough is enough when it comes to the ongoing incarceration of Julian Assange, and he said nothing is served from the ongoing incarceration of Julian Assange. That's quite right, Deputy Speaker, because Julian Assange has been held in maximum security conditions at Belmarsh Prison for nearly 5 years. His health has suffered. His extradition to the US was previously denied by a UK court on the basis of his seriously poor mental health, which made him a suicide risk. And Speaker, while every country is of course entitled to apply its justice system, and the US is entitled to apply its justice system, people should remember that Julian Assange has now been imprisoned for a considerable period without having been convicted of any substantial charge. He's an Australian citizen being pursued under the United States Espionage Act for the dissemination of material the United States regards as secret. The same material has been published without legal consequence by media organisations in the US. In the open letter that I referred to earlier, which was published in the Washington Post last September, the co-conveners wrote, and 63 parliamentarians signed up to, the statement that it's wrong for Mr Assange to be further persecuted and denied his liberty when one considers the duration and circumstances of the detention he has already suffered. It serves no purpose. And the letter concluded by saying, we note with gratitude the considerable support in the United States for an end to the legal pursuit of Mr Assange from members of Congress, human rights advocates, academics and civil society, and from within the US media in defence of free speech and independent journalism. Deputy Speaker, in acknowledging the death of the American whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg last year, I noted his support for and solidarity with Julian Assange. Daniel Ellsberg was responsible for exposing some of the details of the circumstances of the Vietnam War. And in a 2021 interview, he said in relation to Julian, look, I was available for people to point to and say, we support good whistleblowers, but that's just ridiculous. Whatever he's guilty of, I'm guilty of. I identify with him totally. The notion that he's guilty of something that I, the good guy, wasn't is just false. We must never forget, Deputy Speaker, that contrary to the idea that our safety and well-being depends more than anything else on secrecy, the reality is that our safety and well-being is at enormous risk when the most grave applications of state power are not held to account. In truth, the distinctive and most precious quality of all liberal democracies, including our own, is the capacity to apply open and proper scrutiny to all decision-making, but especially decision-making that involves military action or the infringement of civil liberties through a security apparatus. There are many in the United States and in the United Kingdom, in the media, in the Congress and civil society that share the view that when it comes to Julian Assange, enough is enough. It is healthy that this matter is openly and respectfully debated in all three countries, and I think I can say on behalf of co-conveners of the group, we've always found an openness in the United States and in the United Kingdom to have these conversations. That's a mark of what makes those three countries, ourselves, the United States and the United Kingdom, examples of liberal democracies at their best, the fact that we can have those conversations. But I say clearly, Deputy Speaker, that the further prosecution and incarceration of Julian Assange has no point and it serves no purpose, and it should end.